枝头树叶金黄，风来声瑟瑟，仿佛
Still has several different stories and angles on this prospect today, including one with this remarkable lead. Reading from the Times, quote, Donald J. Trump claims he's ready for his perp walk. It draws on accounts that Trump is telling people he welcomes the idea of being paraded for any perp walk and is mulling whether he should smile, I should say, in his own style, and whether or how to brand any commotion when that day does come, if it comes. Now,
okay, so what just happened at 6 p.m. Eastern Time today represents the single most consequential moment in American presidential history. And I need everyone to understand that we are watching the end of the Trump presidency unfold in real time right now as you are listening to this. U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell has issued an instant arrest order directing federal marshals to take President Donald Trump into custody by midnight tonight, just hours from now. The order explicitly authorizes forcible entry at Mar-a-Lago if necessary and coordinates with a Secret Service stand-down under Acting President Vance, who has already assumed presidential powers. This is not a future possibility or a threat or a warning. This is happening tonight. The President of the United States will be arrested within hours. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest. Let's get back to the video.
legally, in New York, a perp walk is unlikely under standard procedure if the arraignment is cooperative. Now, Trump's been bracing for all this after decades of legal problems, from criminal investigations that date back to the 70s, clashes with the IRS and other regulators, his reliance on the infamous lawyer Roy Cohn, of course, his clashes with the DOJ as president. So there's a lot to choose from, and a lot of times that he has evaded the ultimate punishment. Now, the New York Times article also details some recent scenes at Mar-a-Lago to reinforce reporting that Trump seems actually significantly disconnected from the severity of his potential woes. The Times reports on a recent evening where Trump acted as DJ at a party with his personally curated Spotify playlists. Known favorites include the Rolling Stones and Phantom of the Opera. Now, the fact is, Donald Trump wouldn't really be the first DJ to try to rock a crowd while eyeing trouble with the law. But
come on, are you kidding me with this? A federal judge has ordered the immediate arrest of the sitting president of the United States. The order was time-stamped at 6:02 p.m. Eastern and states execute without delay and detain pending war crimes indictment. Execute without delay. Those are the words in the order. There is no waiting period. There is no opportunity for appeal before execution. 150 federal marshals are deployed to Palm Beach right now. Helicopter footage shows the area around Mar-a-Lago is locked down. The gates are projected to be breached by 11 p.m. if Trump does not surrender voluntarily. We are watching the arrest of a president happen live. The order was triggered by Trump's deposition meltdown earlier today when he screamed that he would burn D.C. down if they tried to arrest him. That threat, combined with the autopsy evidence showing 132 civilian deaths under rules of engagement Trump personally signed, convinced Judge Howell that Trump represents an immediate threat to national security that cannot wait until morning to address. She moved the arrest timeline from 9 a.m. tomorrow to midnight tonight, 6 hours from the meltdown to custody. That is how dangerous she considers him. Trump's response has been predictably unhinged and is making everything worse for him. At 6:15 p.m., just 13 minutes after the order was issued, he posted on Truth Social in all caps that the arrest order is fake and that marshals are traitors and calling on his supporters to rise up. He is inciting violence against federal law enforcement in real time while the arrest operation is underway. Every post he makes becomes additional evidence of obstruction and incitement that will be added to the charges against him. The coordination with Acting President Vance on the Secret Service stand-down is constitutionally significant because it means the transfer of power has already effectively occurred. Vance is exercising presidential authority to direct the Secret Service to not interfere with the arrest. Trump's own protective detail will not prevent the marshals from taking him into custody. The Secret Service works for the presidency, not for the individual, and Vance is now functioning as president for purposes of this operation. Live helicopter footage is showing the Palm Beach lockdown as it unfolds, and the images are unlike anything we have ever seen in American history. Roads are blocked. Checkpoints are established. Federal vehicles are positioned around Mar-a-Lago. The arrest of a president is being broadcast live to the world. The hashtag Trump arrest has exploded to billions of views globally. Foreign leaders are issuing statements. Markets are halting trading. The world is watching America arrest its president. And Trump's frantic all-caps warning of Civil War II on Truth Social tells you exactly how scared he is and how desperately he is trying to prevent what is about to happen. He knows the marshals are coming. He knows there is no legal remedy that will stop them in time. He knows his freedom ends tonight, so he is calling for civil war, which only confirms Judge Howell's finding that he represents an immediate threat to national security requiring instant arrest. All right, so let me really dig into what this instant arrest order means and how we got here, and why Judge Howell concluded that Trump had to be taken into custody tonight, rather than waiting until tomorrow morning as originally planned. The acceleration from the 9 a.m. warrant to the midnight arrest reflects a judicial determination that every hour Trump remains free increases the danger to the country and to the people who will execute the arrest. The legal trigger for the instant order was twofold according to the order itself. First, Trump's contempt for judicial process demonstrated by his deposition outburst where he threatened to burn down Washington, D.C. and screamed that they cannot arrest a president. That outburst showed Judge Howell that Trump does not recognize the authority of the courts and will not comply voluntarily with legal process. Second, the Venezuela rules of engagement signatures that Trump admitted to during the deposition before his meltdown, signatures that authorized lethal force resulting in 132 documented civilian deaths, including children. The combination of proven war crimes and demonstrated contempt for legal authority created what the judge called an immediate threat to national security. The order timestamp of 6:02 p.m. Eastern with execution by midnight gives marshals approximately 6 hours to execute the arrest. That timeline is extraordinarily compressed for an operation of this magnitude and complexity. Normally, warrant execution is planned over days with detailed operational preparation. This order requires execution within hours because Judge Howell concluded that delay creates unacceptable risk. Every hour Trump remains free is an hour he can incite violence or flee or destroy evidence or take actions as president that harm national security. The authorization of forcible entry at Mar-a-Lago, if needed, reflects the reality that Trump is unlikely to surrender voluntarily and may attempt to barricade himself inside the property. Mar-a-Lago is a large estate with multiple buildings, and Trump has private security in addition to Secret Service protection. The order authorizes marshals to breach gates and doors and to use whatever force is necessary to effect the arrest. This is not going to be a polite knock on the door. This is going to be a forced entry arrest operation against the most protected individual in the country. The Secret Service stand-down coordination with acting President Vance is constitutionally unprecedented but legally sound. The Secret Service protects the president, but Vance is now functioning as president for constitutional purposes under the 25th Amendment framework. He has authority to direct Secret Service operations. He has ordered them not to resist the arrest of Trump. The agents protecting Trump work for the institution, or not for Trump personally, and their commander is now Vance. They will step aside when marshals arrive. The deployment of 150 federal marshals represents an overwhelming force designed to ensure the arrest succeeds regardless of any resistance. This is not a small team serving a routine warrant. This is a major tactical operation with sufficient personnel to secure a large property and overcome any obstacles. The marshals have been...
The yeas are 52, the nays are 47.
U.S. President Donald Trump lashed out at members of his own party after a rare Senate vote to limit his military powers. The backlash follows the U.S. military operation that
Kash Patel has been under intense scrutiny on Capitol Hill over the handling and release of material connected to Jeffrey Epstein. In a House Judiciary Committee hearing, Patel clashed with lawmakers who accused him and the Bureau of withholding information, while Patel said the FBI has released more material than before and that it is releasing everything the court has allowed, emphasizing he will not break the law to satisfy demands. That exchange is documented and publicly reported, so we can say it cleanly, on camera, without exaggeration. Now, before we go deeper...
Secretary Kristi Noem was in front of the House Homeland Security Committee today, testifying on worldwide threats. But for many lawmakers, the threat was her, as they demanded answers from the DHS secretary on a wide range of her agency's actions, including the decisions behind who to detain and deport.
Madam Secretary, how many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. The man behind you, please stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna.
All right, so this is wild. Like, this is actually happening. We're potentially watching the first time in American history that the 25th Amendment could be used to remove a sitting president. And it's not some hypothetical anymore. Cabinet officials, Trump's own hand-picked cabinet officials, are testifying under oath about decisions Trump made that they say crossed the line into illegality. We're talking Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Health Secretary RFK Jr., all of them going before Congress and admitting that Trump made unauthorized military strikes, orchestrated questionable pardons, and evaded congressional oversight. And according to Democrats, 8 cabinet members have now confirmed Trump's unfitness for office, which is exactly the threshold needed to trigger a 25th Amendment removal process.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was in...
Here's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to show you, from a mortuary science standpoint, why this photo does not show a deceased body. Not opinion, not conspiracy, anatomy, physiology, and what the body actually does after death. Then, once we establish that, we're going to talk about the part that really doesn't sit right with me. It's a little opinionated, but we're going to go there. Why does this photo exist at all? Why is this image now resurfacing? And why does it feel like it creates more confusion than clarity? And finally, no matter what you believe about this case, a dead body follows rules. So let me show you exactly how I can tell, just by looking at this image that you all lovingly and morbidly tagged me in, that the person, aka Jeffrey Epstein, in this photo is very much alive in this moment, which actually makes the photo weirder to me. Pull the photo up again. I get tagged in this, and y'all want to know, does this look like a dead body to you? And that's when I realized why this photo is so effective and honestly dangerous, because it sits right in that uncomfortable middle space. Close enough to death to confuse people, or at least it's cosplaying death, but not close enough to actually be real. So instead of reacting emotionally, I did what I always do. I stripped everything else away and I asked one question, which if you ever see something like this again, I hope that this video comes to mind, because you should be thinking, what is the body telling me? So when I saw this, the very first thing I noticed wasn't the weird looking table he's lying on. It wasn't his body positioning. It was actually the mouth area, his mouth. This is one of those things that families are always kind of shocked by, because no one really talks about it. But when someone dies, every muscle in their body relaxes, all of it, including your jaw. And when the jaw relaxes and someone is lying on their back, gravity takes over and the mouth opens, not dramatically, just naturally. So naturally.